When was the last time that you felt sick? Maybe you had a pounding headache and you were so relieved when the medicine finally kicked in. Well, what you might not know is that the journey of that medicine from its discovery into your hands was long and complicated. And it has to be. Medications need to prove that they are safe and effective for humans before we can use them. But this process is far from being perfect. Right now, still many studies rely on animal testing. And besides the ethical concerns, there is a big issue. Results from animals often don't translate well to humans. In fact, over 90% of drugs that seem promising in animals fail when tested in humans. But we obviously can't just test new drugs directly on people, right? And that's why scientists like me are working on alternatives, on methods that don't use animals. And one promising approach is creating physical models in the lab, the so-called in vitro models. And my research focuses on building an in vitro model of articular cartilage. That's the smooth white tissue that covers the end of our bones in joints like the knee, that reduces friction and makes us walk without difficulties. And to obtain this model, I use the cells from patients and grow them in the lab. Then I 3D print a scaffold that mimics the structure of human cartilage. By combining the two, I obtain a tissue construct that I grow then in similar conditions as in the human body, for example at 37 degrees and under slight mechanical compression as if we are walking. And this construct I can use to study the tissue in different conditions. And one of the conditions that I'm interested in is osteoarthritis, the most common joint disease. It affects over 600 million people worldwide, causing pain, loss of mobility, and often leads to secondary diseases. As right now, there is no cure. The only perspective of these patients is joint replacement surgery. And this I want to change. So, after I have obtained the healthy cartilage tissue, I make it sick. And I induce the disease in a similar way as in nature. I damage the tissue with mechanical overloading, and I induce inflammation by using little molecules that are normally secreted by our body. Then I can study the disease, which helps to better understand it, for example, how it starts and how its progression. And then comes my final goal, to cure the tissue again. This we can achieve by trying new drugs and study how the tissue behaves, or even rediscover and repurpose an existing drug to speed up the discovery for new treatments. And this way, we aim to reduce the need for painful interventions and improve the lives of those affected, working towards a world where osteoarthritis doesn't hold anyone back.